Hello and welcome to the weekly Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. First, look at the highlights. 3-day Science Congress concludes. Markaz-i-Noor celebrates 577th annual Urs of Sheikhul Alam Rahmatullahi Alayh. And ADG Police delivers an extension lecture. Now, the details with your host, Rafia Rahim. The 3-day JK Science Congress concluded with Minister for Information Technology and Technical Education, Maulvi Imran Raza Ansari, chairing its valedictory function. The theme of the 3-day Congress was scientific, social, and economic dimensions of climate change. Around 32 technical and 2 plenary sessions were held during the 3-day deliberation. Co-convener of the Science Congress and head of the Earth Sciences, Professor Shakil Ahmed Romshu, presented a report and recommendations of the 3-day Congress.
We had 35 technical sessions in the 11th JK Science Congress. We had 799 abstracts for oral and poster presentations, out of which 552 presentations were made spread over 35 technical sessions and 2 plenary sessions. There is a need for using science and technology for addressing the challenges of climate change in various spheres of life. Scientific community, government, and the civil society need to work together to develop strategies and frame policies for the environmental friendly, sustainable economic development of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, to face the challenges of climate change and uplift the quality of life of the common masses in the state. I think if this state has any resource, that is snow and glaciers. And it is linked to every sector of the economy. And somehow we have not been able to harness even 10% of that potential we have. And there's a need to use the science and technology. That was one of the recommendations.
Dean Academic Affairs Professor Muhammad Ashraf Wani advised participants that good research should be theory-oriented, adding multidisciplinary approach plays an important role in good research.
Gone are the days when we used to say hypothesis. Now we have to be guided by hypotheses, because even in science also, social science is okay, but even in sciences, we have to consider that a particular development that takes place is the result of a multi-causal factors. So what are these causes? These have been explained by different scientists, philosophers, or social science philosophers, or other philosophers. So we have to keep these insights in mind while doing a research, which is related to what we call multidisciplinary approach also. So it has to be guided by theories, rather guided by theory, if we want to do some innovative research. And then it is to be theory oriented, because we have a good research has to add significantly to the stock of knowledge.
Professor Ashraf said that to produce better quality research, facts and factors must be multidimensional.
Any development that takes place, whether it is in science or in social sciences, and science or in society, they are governed and conditioned by different factors. There are political factors, there are social, economic, cultural, religious, technological, scientific, genetic. So many factors shape a particular development, even in science also. Therefore, facts have to be multidimensional. The more we are aware of the different direct and indirect influences that go on making a particular situation, the better quality research we may be able to produce.
The Vice Chancellor, Professor Khurshid Iqbal Andrabi, stressed that inspirational learning plays an important role in such type of conferences.
I personally believe that there are so many ways of learning. One way of learning in such forums is what I call incidental learning, is that an individual who comes from one area of science or one discipline of science happens to sit in a talk from an individual from another area, or maybe has an opportunity to go through the poster and then focus on a particular technique that he or she would like to get him into his fold and perhaps be a better learned individual at the end of the day. Or another is what I call diffuse learning, is that individuals who are, say, graduate students, 5 graduate students interact with each other, and then their brains are usually what we call equilibrated. And one idea from one individual will make another person wiser than he was before. And the third way of learning in these 4 hours is when you listen to a talk from an individual who has made a name in one area or the other. And then that is called inspirational learning. And you do not get these kind of opportunities every time, ladies and gentlemen, excepting when you have a conference that also supports the culture of cross-disciplinary listening and cross-disciplinary scientific temper.
Professor Andrabi informed participants that the word super specialist in present educational setup doesn't exist at all.
My strong belief is that gone are the days when you called yourself as a super specialist, and gone are the days when you actually were proud of being a super specialist. I think a super specialist these days cannot do anything if he or she is not in collaboration, in consultation with people from other specialities. So this kind of gathering always is a boom, is a real impetus for these kind of research that basically are order of the day.
Minister for Information Technology and Technical Education, Maulvi Imran Ansari, suggested that to diminish the consequences of climate change, collective approach is the need of the hour.
A major cause and consequence of this inertia is that even those who broadly accept the fact of climatic change struggle to see themselves either as a part of the problem or the solution. No wonder then that our societal response has been lacking precisely those personal qualities, passion, honesty, tenacity and vision that the issue demands us. We need a way of thinking and speaking that captures the fact that the climate change is not merely one of many environmental problems, but a completely unique collective action problem and one that is implicated in every aspect of our lives.
Maulvi Ansari, while complimenting the university for holding Science Congress on the vital theme of climate change, said professionals should enhance their knowledge in order to counter growing climate change.
Considerable attention has been given to the climate change by the scientific community, government bodies and the public media. However, many issues are not fully understood. It is important that the professionals in the field become more knowledgeable on this subject so to respond to the needs to monitor the climate change, to incorporate climate change perspectives into their own work, to help governing bodies to understand the scientific issues and to provide information to the general public.
Head Department of Botany, Professor Irshad Nauchu, proposed a vote of thanks.
At the outset, I express sincere thanks to Honorable Minister who accepted to come here at a very short notice and was very keen to see what we have done so far. We appreciate the moral support provided to us by Professor Mohammad Ashrafani Saab, the Dean of Academic Affairs.
Later, awards and certificates were distributed among the participants.
A number of presentations were made by the delegates and scientists in varied technical sessions at different venues. The presentations and posters on display were assessed by eminent scientists both from within and outside the state.
To mark the 577th annual Urs of Alamdari Kashmir Sheikhul Alam Rahmatullahi Alayh, Markaz-i-Noor Center for Sheikhul Alam Studies organized a special function. The function was held in the conference hall of the center and was titled Yathwa Wahale Tsonkuszale. Dean Academic Affairs Professor Muhammad Ashraf Wani deliberated upon the importance of Sheikhul Alam Rahmatullahi Alayh in the current society.
Appropriate kar मुख्तलिफ ख्यालों, मुख्तलिफ आइडियालजियों, मुख्तलिफ वक्ती की ज़रूरत हो, तिमास समाजी ज़रूरत थी, तिमास इक़्तिसादी ज़रूरत थी, तिमास सियासी ज़रूरत थी, इनको कोई appropriation शेखुल आलम आओ deliberately करने appropriate Kya is change karnish chalaya. You should do the good leader. You should do the good leader in popular makbul aam. Do the look mas basic ki prakash ek do agar bhaiya se boss ya sa bas pose hua bas look hasa ke local care democratic share.
He further said that human beings have this weakness of being impatient and want faster change to take place in society.
Bunyadi insan yus chu insan sun androon yus chu insan sun mentality yus chu. You should bunyadi important factor yigani akmi meshadi mesti change yigasi disaster change. Beshasan beliefs, mindsets, culture. Human time should different. Science and technology time should different. Science and technology is तेज बेहतर, मगर culture time should बार-बार पकड़, तो अंदरूनी time should पकड़ लो.
Scholar and author Mr. Muhammad Yusuf Ting, while highlighting the fame and popularity of the revered saint, said that the Sheikhul Alam Rahmatullahi Alayh played a decisive role in disseminating the peace message.
Sayyidi Hamdaniyas öz zuban Parsi, Arabic Parsi British kat kara, lehza aam hukam tam Islamic message for no was. Kashir's tanme Bulbar, Islam Markaz, Islam Quran message वाते हैं, पैगाम वाते हैं, उसको ऐसे जेई बुलवात, उस वातना में ताज़ा शेर सुध जाओ तीन दिन इरशाद पाते जब उनसे मुलाकात करें खाती इरशाद की मौजूद 5 मिनट पर खाने आवाज़ पर उसके आवाज़ की मौजूद.
Chairman Markaz-i-Noor, Professor Bashir Bashir, while welcoming the participants, spoke about the contributions of the great saint of Kashmir in shaping the Kashmir society. The Department of Psychology held an extension lecture on psychological growth on the growing children. The lecture was held in the Media House Auditorium. Head of the Department of Psychology, Dr. Shaukat Shah, presented a welcome address.
Time and again, the Department of Psychology has been trying to address the issues concerning the growth and well-being of the members of this society, be it mental health, trauma, drug addiction, and emotional distress. Since its inception, whatever little is possible to contribute as academicians, we try our best to focus on these issues.
Dean Academic Affairs Professor Muhammad Ashrafani said it's important to understand the human behavior from the beginning.
We all study human beings. And for understanding the human behavior, human action, we must know all those forces and factors that shape the behavior. Whether you study political science, you study sociology, you study economics, you study law, you study management, or even you study other sciences. There are many factors, and these factors are being studied by different specialists. Psychologists, project is one thing, his ambition is one thing, but he provides me insights about the human behavior. Sociologists also studies human behavior. He also supplies me his insights about the behavior. Economists also, political science, philosophers, different. Then we have a relationship with medical sciences also, because there are certain things which are innate, which are genetic makeup, and other things that also shapes human behavior.
Additional Director General of Police, Mr. V.K. Singh, while delivering the extension lecture, appraised students of various settings, norms, and procedures through which psychological health of humans can be determined. During his 1-hour-long lecture, Mr. Singh showed students various psychological techniques. He also demonstrated psychological skills.
Insula is about social bonding. आप किसी के साथ उठते हैं, बैठते हैं, कोई आपका अजीज है. So how these two will register memories and values in your social relationships.
Some skits were also shown on the occasion.
The question, though, remains is whose dignity is the top priority? That still remains to be answered. Because I believe so many years back, Alexander asked, he had the intelligence to ask Porus that, how do you believe? What do you think I should treat you? How do you think I should treat you? Whatever was the answer from Porus is a different thing, but the question that is important is that Alexander was intelligent enough to ask this. So many years down the line, where are we? Do we even ask, do we even think that the so-called germ of dignity and honor should have sunk deep into the intellectual and people otherwise? Has it sunk into our souls? Has it sunk somewhere in us? Why do we today, even today, after so many years, have to ask to restore dignity to people which rightly belongs to them as well?
With this, we come to the end of today's program. In case you missed some part of Quest, log on to our website ammrckashmir.com where you can watch it. Send us your suggestions at our email address quest@ammrckashmir.com. Before I take your leave, here are a few words of wisdom. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong.